Why the hell Sony? If you want to make a perfect entry-level mirrorless camera, just bloody make one. You can't recycle your old camera parts into a new body. Yes, I'm talking about the ZV-E10, the latest entry-level mirrorless camera by Sony. It is a good camera, but there are some problems with it that nobody seems to be talking about. So let me. What is up friends? It's me Suket, back with another video, and this one is a rant video. So a few days back, I opened up YouTube and all I could see was videos about the Sony ZV-E10. All of them were talking about how good the camera is and how Sony is going to break the entry-level interchangeable camera market with this camera. But wait, why was nobody talking about the problems with this camera? As no camera can be made perfect, and especially an entry-level camera cannot be made perfect while keeping the cost in check. So watch this video till the end if you are planning to buy the Sony ZV-E10 as soon as it launches in India. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It keeps me motivated to make such informative videos. Let's talk about the pros of the Sony ZV-E10 before we talk about the cons. So the Sony ZV-E10 has been marketed as an entry-level interchangeable mirrorless camera. Back in 2019 when Sony had launched the ZV-1, it had got such overwhelming response from the YouTubing and vlogging community that Sony decided to ride that wagon and build an interchangeable camera with features from the ZV-1 and parts from the old A6300. And thus was born the Sony ZV-E10. This camera is specifically aimed at beginner content creators, as that category had a huge space for a good camera. You take into account every company is making cameras specifically for that audience. The Canon has its M50 Mark II, Fujifilm has XA7 and XT200, even Nikon has come up with the FC series. Sony was missing a good camera in this category, so they came up with the ZV-E10. Now let's talk about the ZV-E10. It is a 24.2 megapixel APS-C type Exmor CMOS sensor. It is Sony's first mirrorless APS-C camera to sport a fully articulating screen. It has inbuilt microphones that comes with a dead cat filter, a horseshoe mount on the top to attach external microphones, a 3.5mm jack for headphones to monitor audio, and Sony's E-mount lenses. It has all the good features carried forward from the ZV-1 and the sensor and parts carried forward from A6300. Let's talk about the video capabilities. The ZV-E10 can record 8-bit 100 Mbps 420 4K videos at 30 fps and HD videos up to 120 fps, both in S-Log2, S-Log3 and HLG color profiles. It can also record vertical videos. You can live stream directly through the USB-C port. It has Sony's awesome eye and face detection autofocus technology with 425 focus points. You also get one button product showcase and background defocus mode, just like the ZV-1. It has the same battery as seen in other Sony cameras that lets you shoot 440 images or record 80 minutes of video. Now, if I just end the video over here, you will think that this is the perfect entry-level camera. But no, that is not true. This is not perfect and it comes with its fair share of cons as well. The specifications and features on the ZV-E10 all look perfect. But when actually using the cameras, there are some problems with it. First, when shooting in 4K at 30 fps, you get an additional crop of 1.2x. You also get the same crop when you are recording slow motion 120 fps videos in HD. There is also no IBIS or in-body image stabilization. All you get is digital stabilization that also comes with an additional crop. And to top it all, this 120 fps does not get the electronic stabilization as well. It is a nice option that you can live stream directly through the USB-C, but that is also limited to 720p. Not even HD. Forget 4K. The next one is Sony's menu system. Though some of the newer full-frame cameras have received the simpler, updated version of the menu system, the ZV-E10 still carries forward the same old complex menu system from Sony. The touchscreen is also just for autofocus. You cannot use the touchscreen to navigate the menu system. I mean, I don't get this point. Sony makes mobile phones. They have mastered the touchscreen technology. Then what's so difficult to give touch access to the menu system? And this does not end here. There are still more. The ZV-E10 has a real slow shutter carried forward from the A6300, which causes the rolling shutter phenomenon in the ZV-E10. Also, if you remember, the ZV-1 has inbuilt ND filters and super slow-mos at 240, 480 and 960 fps. Well, the ZV-E10 has nothing of that sort. I mean, you have the technology, you have already done it before, you have the means to do it. So why not give those features in your entry level camera and make it even more appealing? So no doubt the Sony ZV-E10 is a good camera. It has some really nice features, and for the price that it would be selling, it will attract a lot of beginner content creators. But along with the pros, you should also be aware of the cons about the camera. So I've made this video specially to highlight the cons of this camera for those beginners who are looking to purchase this camera. The things that I personally did not like about this camera are the rolling shutter issue, the missing IBIS, and the additional crop factors when recording 4K or doing super slow-mo at 120 FPS. About the pricing, what I've heard online or what I've read online, this camera would be launching in India in the price range of 50 to 60,000 along with a kit lens. So on this note, I leave you with a question. Would you buy the Sony ZV-E10 when it launches in India? Let me know in the comments. If you found the video informative, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It keeps me going. And yeah, don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified about my new videos as soon as I upload them. See you all in the next video. This is me, Suket, signing off.